I'm starting another new reading log, and so we're gonna start with Windbreaker. So I read 2 to 5. So the first volume basically talks about the new character coming in this new town, and he got himself into a fight. But after that, so 2 to 5 basically talks about learning about the school, learning about his classmate, and learning about the leader. And they are gonna go against to one of their enemy, I guess, one of the turfs outside their town. And so that was a fun to read, and at the end there was like a big surprises, which was kind of nice because fighting is not all about like getting pissed off and stuff like that. But yeah, the main character also learned about like, yes, you have to be strong to be the top, but at the same time you also need supporters from your peers and everybody, and you kind of have a sort of a goal so that way they can back you up. But yeah, I really like this story. It's subtle but not too much violence, and you get to meet other new characters in this the next 4 volumes, and then the 6th volume doesn't come out until June, so I can't wait for that. So yeah, this was a fun to read so far. The anime totally followed the manga, but a few changes, but it's still the same. And so yeah, I can't wait to read more because it's something that I don't read normally or I haven't read before. And so yeah, so I really want to continue reading what I own, and so this one is called My Dress Up Darling. I have this volume for a while and finally get a chance to read it. So you get these 2 students who are classmates decide to team up because the girl who wants to do cosplay, and then the other character who's a male, he does like sewing because his family does this handmade dolls, and so he's very experienced. And yeah, it's actually quite cute at the same time. Get to learn like about cosplay and how it's done and sewing, and so it's not too shabby. I might just continue reading this from my library because I feel like it's not something I want to continue buying, but I'm still interested with the story. And so down the line, they both had fun after making their first cosplay costume, and so I think they're gonna continue and do more cosplay. And the male character, he's having a lot of fun because he doesn't really have much friends, or he doesn't have friends at all, and so he's glad that he's teaming up with this girl and they seem to be having fun together. And so yeah, give you some. Now this is rated mature, and so because there's some scenes is a little bit like too mature for the younger viewers, and so I'll do my best to give you some insight from the first volume. But yeah, so that's all I can do. And so yeah, like I said, I'm probably gonna continue reading this from my library, and hopefully they have it. And so yeah. All right, so what we have here is called Go with the Clouds, North by Northwest. I read 1 to 6. Yes, that's quite a lot, but I really totally enjoy this series so much. It takes place in Iceland. You got this young Japanese guy living in Iceland with his grandfather. This is all about mystery, and apparently he has a special ability along with his grandfather and his younger brother. And so it talks about the Iceland's history and the beautiful scenery. And so yeah, I totally enjoy this series. I can't wait to read more. However, volume 7 just came out this year in Japan, so I'm not sure when volume 7 in English is gonna come out, because there is some big mystery throughout the series, and it involves with his little brother. And so yeah, this is rated, I'm pretty sure it's rated mature because there are some explicit scene, of course, so I'm gonna do my best to flip through the pages. And so yeah, I really like it. I learn about Iceland and how beautiful it is, and so hopefully someday I can visit Iceland. And yeah, so I'm gonna do my best. All right, that's the main character. And so yeah, the main character, he's a private investigator, and so he solved like missing people, and he likes to drive around Iceland, of course, because who doesn't? And so yeah, I totally recommend this series if you want to learn about Iceland. And there's a lot of adventures. There's not much romance, but there's sort of, but not as much, which I kind of like because I want to know about Iceland, so there's some twists and here and there, but yeah, I like it so far. So this one is called Our Dining Table. Oh my gosh, this was just a good read. I love it so much. I want my own copy. So you got this office worker who's always by himself because he doesn't have a good relationship with his friends and also his family. And so he was eating by himself at this park, eating an onigiri, and this little boy showed up and decided to share his onigiri to this little boy, and this little boy happened to have a big brother, and things kind of started really well. He started hanging out with the two brothers, and he was invited often because they really like his onigiri so much. And yeah, so you got this friendship started to build up, and then down the line, the office worker started to be open about his past because he really doesn't have any good relationship with his family. Yeah, I really like this story so much. It's all about self-discovery and self-acceptance, and it's just so cute. I love the romance. This is a BL, and so yeah, I don't really read often too much of BL, and this was truly one of a kind BL story, and I truly love it. I even cried a little because it was just so heartwarming and adorable, and oh my god, it was a happy ending, and I love it so much. So yeah, this talks about food and having friends around you and being accepted, and yeah, I truly love it. And yep. All right, we have these two series I feel like are completely different vibe, but however, I enjoyed these two series so far. And so let's start with Witch Life in a Micro Room. So you got these two young witches struggling making a living in the city because witches nowadays in this story are not very needed because of technology and stuff like that. And so they go to this witch association to find jobs. However, based on their rank as a C rank, they don't really have like good paying job, but have no choice but accept whatever job they can give to them. And so I really like the story. It's very motivational and inspiring because these two girls are not willing to give up because it is what it is. They have no choice because in order to keep up with their rent and food, they have no choice but just accept whatever jobs they can get. And so I like it so far. I believe this series just came out this year because volume 2 is coming out this month. And so yeah, and I like reading about witches, and so this is really up in my alley. And so yeah, I really like it so far, and I can't wait to read more. So this next one is called Parasite. This is volume 2. I did a reading log for the first volume, and so if you haven't read this or seen the anime, you may want to skip this because I might talk about some things that might be a spoiler. And so let's get started. And so volume 2, I'd say it's a little bit sad because one of his parents, a parasite, was able to go inside the body, and so was able to control the brain. And once the parasite controlled the brain, pretty much the body is just being controlled, and it can be very dangerous. And so Shinichi, the main character, has really no choice but to kill it, and that was the sad part. And I think this volume just talks about you need to accept that a parasite can't be controlled, or you can't get rid of it and save the body at the same time. And so this was really sad, to be honest. And then along the way, he was able to meet someone who's just like him because his parasite is not controlled by the brain. And so yeah, and then something happens to Shinichi. It was like a life and death situation, but the parasite had no choice but to revive him. But somehow the parasite's tissue or part of its body was able to spread out in his body, and so his body is 70% human and then 30% parasite, if that makes sense. And so now he's very skillful and kind of is able to detect if something dangerous is coming, and so he feels a little bit different somehow. But yeah, so far the story is really good. I can't wait for volume 3. However, I have to buy the volume 3 because my library doesn't have volume 3 for some reason. And so yeah, so can't wait for volume 3 and see where this story goes. All right, so I read 4 more today because that's all I do. I pretty much read all day. And so we got Die Dark and Given. So start with Die Dark, we're continuing this space adventure with Sanko and Avakian. All right, so this 3 and 4 volume, it just brings out more characters. Sanko and Avakian is teaming up with oh my god, I'm blanking out. What is their name again? Shimida and Hajidimaru. Anyway, so they're teaming up because it looks like they have a same common enemy, which is called photosphere, and oh my god, I'm blanking again. Let me check. Something to do with light. They're a cult, and their main goal is basically to kill this 4, which they call them 4 little, I don't know if I can say the word, I'll probably spell it out, but yeah, okay, they're called Lighthead Order. Anyway, so I guess they don't like this 4 because maybe they just cause a lot of issues, or they're just probably very powerful, which is very true. And so yeah, it's been a great read, a lot of adventures, a lot of laughs. However, I noticed this dialogue, there's a lot of foreshadowing regarding about Sanko, his past life when he used to go to a school called Trigon. And so yeah, I mean, it's not so bad, but I didn't expect to be more foreshadowing because it was like that in the first 2 volumes also. And so yeah, I really like it so far. So this next one is called Given. This is a BL, it's about music, high school, and you got romance. So you got this band of 3 members at first, and then the 4th member is Sato. He bumped into Ritsuka, who happens to be his classmate, because Ritsuka was trying to find a place to nap, and they kind of clicked because Sato was holding a guitar, and Ritsuka is already a guitarist. And so Sato was like just in a daze because he has this past that's been bothering him. Music has always been a part of him, but something happened among his childhood friends that he had to stop. And so yeah, they kind of connected. Sato wanted Ritsuka to teach him how to play guitar and so on. And then one day Sato started singing and Ritsuka was just in shock, and so he wanted Sato to join the band. And yeah, it's such a lovely story, and there's some like Sato's past is still sort of like haunting him, and so sometimes it's hard for him to express his feelings, or yeah, I really like it. As in, I like the story, of course. And this is rated older teen, and so I mean, it's just basic high school stuff. And so yeah, nice story, a lot of things happen. Sometimes it can be intense, which makes me kind of curious because I want to read more, and so that's why it's in my opinion it's pretty good. And then something happened between the 2 characters in volume 2, which kind of happened so fast, but I was like kind of in shock and yet happy because it's just a lovely story, and then I can't wait to read more. I believe there's a total 9, but I think 9 comes out this year. So, and there's an anime too, so yeah. Okay, so we have another BL. This is called Delinquent Daddy and Tender Teacher. I really like this story so far, and I think this is pretty new because volume 3 just came out in March and volume 4 comes out July. And so yeah, I did enjoy it, and this is gonna be rated mature. And so it's about a teacher who bumped into his old classmate because his classmate has a kid that happens to be in his class. And so they started talking, hanging out, and well, things kind of got spicier. And so I think you probably know, but yeah, there's a lot of romance, of course, and there's like self-discoveries and new experiences, especially for the both of them because they're entering this new world that they haven't experienced before. And at the same time, the teacher is being careful because he's dating his student's father. And so yeah, so there's sometimes it can be tricky and quite challenges for them. And so yeah, I really like it so far, and I can't wait to read more. Alright, so what we have here in the front is called Paradise Kiss. It's 1, 2, 3. I believe this is probably like the 3rd reprint. It's originally like 5 volumes, and I guess they condensed it to 3 volumes. Originally they're in this purple spine, and then I guess they made another second reprint in this like gray spine, and they actually came out with a 20th anniversary, which is like a one book, and so that one's available. The rest are out of print, and so they're hard to find. These are from the library, of course, and so I did my best to find the original, but it can be super pricey because, you know, they're like hidden gem and kind of valuable because they're out of print. Anyways, Paradise Kiss, it's all about fashion. You got some, of course, some ups and downs, sad moments, and you got the main girl who got scouted to do like a modeling gig because you got this group of students, fashion students, who are about to graduate, and they need to release like one design to show in before graduation. And so they scouted her in the street. At first she was hesitant because, you know, she doesn't know anything about fashion and modeling, of course, and so they kind of convinced her, and so she got intrigued, and all of a sudden she started like going to her like cram school because she's about to graduate high school and getting ready for college. I guess she just got super distracted with this group of adult students, and so she was kind of like more interested with what they do instead of her school life. And so yeah, and then there's gonna be romance. I feel like there's some part where there's a little bit dysfunctional among the characters, and so yeah, it's a big roller coaster story. The ending was nice, but I feel like I wish there was more, but it is what it is. There is a happy ending, of course, but throughout the story, yeah, there's a lot of things going on, of course, but yeah, it's a very quick read. I don't mind. So this is the same mangaka who wrote Nana, and they actually made a prequel of this story called A Neighborhood Story that just came out recently. So far there's like 2 volumes, and I think it's going to be also a short series of 4. I'm not sure, but I have Nana and Neighborhood Story, but I haven't read those yet, and so this was a good start reading from this amazing mangaka because I like fashion, and I kind of relate to the main character because throughout the story she has like a rebellious phase. I used to rebel a lot back in high school as well, and so I kind of understand what she's going through because, you know, she's still trying to figure out her life, what she wants to do, or is school a thing for her, or would she rather like be a model, because eventually she got super interested becoming a model. And I feel like she realized maybe I could use, because she's very tall and lean and has that modeling face, and so she was like, might as well use modeling as her like career for now instead of going to college, because I think she doesn't really like school in the first place, because her mom, she's a little bit controlling. Well, she's very controlling, and so she doesn't really have a good relationship with her mom. But however, throughout the story, her mom slowly changed and accepted her modeling gig. And so yeah, this is rated mature, of course. So I'm gonna do my best to flip some pages for you guys. I really like the illustration. It's so eye-catching. It's the same like style for Nana and I believe Neighborhood Story. Yeah, I really like it. I'm so glad like my library has this, because like I said, these are hard to find, but you can buy the 20th anniversary, which is available right now, but it's just one volume. I might get that, but I've been trying to compare this and this, just 3 volumes. Yeah, it definitely follows from the original prints, and so anyways, definitely recommend this story. It's really nice, and yeah, so I hope you guys find this prints, because like I said, they are hard to find. A lot of people are selling this for crazy prices, and so I got this for a good price. Like, I never like go beyond over 100. I think I got both of these for $10 each, and this was 35 because somebody was selling this as 2, which I'm glad, because nowadays it's hard to find just one single volume. Most of it, like, people are selling it for like 5 volumes for like over 100 or 200. And so yeah, I'm so sorry this is pretty long, because I really like the story a lot, and I just wanted to share that, you know, like I said, the prints are hard to find, and so yeah. Okie dokie, so let's talk about The Summer Hikaru Died. Now, the first time I heard about this series, it was kind of sound depressing, but not entirely depressing. It's not even depressing in my opinion. But after reading this, holy cow, I am so like interested and intrigued read the whole plot, because the first 3 pages, just like that, it tells you what happened to Hikaru, and his best friend noticed something different about him. And basically what happened was Hikaru went to the mountain, something terrible happened to him, and then I think after how many days or so, I could be wrong, I'm just like super excited, but he just like woke up, because in his mind he thought he died. Anyway, something happened, like a weird anomaly went inside his body. If you don't want any spoiler, well, basically it's not really a spoiler, because this thing is probably the main cause what's going on with this village, because this village has been like sensing some weird vibe. Anyway, I think he did mention that Hikaru is being so Hikaru did died, but somehow a ghoul decided to take over his body and control its body. So basically it's just the ghoul, but Hikaru is dead. And so this is such a good story. I like it. It's kind of weird and creepy, but not like super creepy. It's kind of subtle. Anyway, I really like this story. Can't wait for volume 3. I might have to buy volume 3 because my library is still, I guess, in the process of getting it. I don't have patience sometimes, so yeah. Anyway, it's really good. I can see the hype and why a lot of people has been kind of talking about it, or I've seen that a lot of people has this series in their collection. And so yeah, definitely recommend if this is something you're interested in, if this is your vibe. Oh my god, really good. Oh my god, I forgot to mention one character, which is the best friend, which I did kind of mention. So the best friend is really having a hard time accepting this new Hikaru, because it just doesn't feel the same. And so his best friend's name is Yoshiki, and so it's kind of, he has like a lot of ups and downs, because like I said, this is not his best friend anymore, and he has to accept the fact that this is a completely different person. And so he's struggling, but at the same time he's slowly gonna accept him, because you know, he still believes it's still Hikaru, but not really. Anyway, I really like this story because just so many unknown, and I want to know more too. Okay, it's another day. I read Unnamed Memory today. Excuse me. So I read 1 through 3. This still is like a small series. I need to read 4, and then 5 comes out next month. And so you got this male and female character. The female, she's a witch. She's actually one of the 5 main witches in the kingdom or the mainland. She's the witch of Azuri Moon. And then you also got mages on the side, which is kind of interesting. Anyway, so the prince decided to meet her because she can grant any wishes, because he has a curse. But before that, he has to go through all this obstacle from the tower that she lives, and then yada yada da. And so yeah, he passed, and however, she can't really break the curse because she wasn't the one who did the curse. And so one thing she can do is just put like a protection in him, and then they made a contract that she would live under him and kind of become like a protector, and maybe she can slowly get rid of the curses somehow. And so that's what's happening right now. And then they also have like other enemy on the side that was 70 years ago, but they're coming back for some reason. And yeah, that's an interesting part about this story. It's like got witches and mages. So however, like I said, I don't like the prince. He's super childish. I feel like he can just do whatever he wants because he's a prince or good looking. Like, he keeps wanting to marry her. It's kind of obvious he likes her, but it's just like, that was too fast. You just met her for like 5 minutes, like, hello. Anyway, but she's not really interested. But like, honestly, I feel like they will probably end up together at the end. The only reason why I want to keep reading, because about witches and mages, and there's like a bunch of mystery. And so yeah, so this was like a very fast to read. It's not super wordy, as you can see. Like, I was like, wow, I'm done reading. Like, that was pretty quick. Yeah, I really like it, except the prince is annoying. That's all. Alright, we've reached the end of this reading log. I'm gonna end it with the Yakuza Guide to Babysitting. So you got this Yakuza guy, he's like the right hand man for the main leader, and then the leader got a daughter right there, and so he was assigned to babysit her, basically like take her to school, kind of watch out for her, take her to the park. It's a cute, heartwarming story. I actually totally enjoy it. There's like some funny moments. There's not too much violence because he's always looking after her, but throughout the story there's some, you know, ups and downs, especially for the little girl, because it's hard for her to open at first, but slowly she did open, as well as him, because he's always seemed very stern and very strict upon himself, but then slowly he's also like opening up to her. Like they're both slowly opening up to her, which is kind of cute. They have a great bond. I love it so much. And there's another 5th volume, but my library doesn't have it, so I might have to purchase it or something. And I did some research, so I guess in Japanese there's a total 11 volumes and it already ended, so I'm confused whether they just stopped printing or maybe it's not high in demand, so I'm gonna have to wait. I mean, it is available digitally, but I don't really like reading digital because it just doesn't feel the same to me, in my opinion. And so yeah, this is such an easy to read because, as you can see, it's not thick, it's pretty light and like wide and tall, and so such a cute story. I like it so much. The dynamics of all the characters is just so like, they're all family, even though they're not like all related, but you know, as a family they work together, look out for each other, and so I truly like the story so much. So cute and adorable. Alright, I gathered all the manga that I read for the last 7 days. Yes, this is a lot, probably the most I ever read. I think because they were just super easy to read. It didn't seem like it was gonna take me long, and at the same time I had fun. I didn't drop any series, surprisingly. I mean, each one had its own unique story and plot. There were some funny moments, surprise moments, and you know, even though the anime memory was a little bit annoying in my part, but I'm still gonna continue because I'm still interested. My Dress Up Darling, it's not something I'm gonna continue purchasing because I have to think about whether I'm gonna reread it or not, and so I'm just gonna continue borrowing it. I mean, if my library has it. And so yeah, thank you for watching my reading log. I know this is pretty long. Thank you for sticking through. I know reading log is not very popular in the community. I noticed that, and this is not something I would do monthly because it's just a lot to cover. And so yeah, this for me is like a journal. I can always just go back to see if I'm, you know, whether I like something or not. And so yeah, I enjoy doing this just for myself, for fun. And so again, thank you for sticking through and watching this reading log, and I'll see you next time.